The Sahara offers no shelter when you're cornered. Amina, a nomad woman out gathering firewood, is already bleeding from a fresh wound on her leg. 3 red-eyed hyenas have her surrounded, waiting for the moment her strength finally gives out. But out of the swirling dust, a much larger predator approaches. A full-grown lioness places itself firmly between Amina and the scavengers. Rearing back on its hind legs, it unleashes a roar that sends the hyenas scattering. The massive feline turns back to the injured woman and lowers its body into the sand. Amina grabs hold of its thick fur and climbs on, allowing the predator to carry her away from the site of the attack. In the wild, animals operate on strict rules of calorie preservation and primal instinct. Apex predators do not offer free rides to humans. To understand why this lioness chose to act as a guardian, we have to look at the chain of events that overrode its biological programming. Amina's life revolves around a solitary stone cottage. She shares this space with a golden dog and an elderly husband whose paralyzed legs keep him confined to his bed. Living here means operating under strict constraints. Every drop of water and every unit of human energy must be carefully hoarded. In an environment this harsh, engaging with unknown variables is usually a death sentence. This graph shows a baseline survival threshold for the Sahara, where available resources run perfectly parallel to daily consumption. There is exactly 0 margin for error. Introducing a 300-pound carnivore into this equation defies every rule of desert survival. The story began several days before the hyena attack. Amina was knitting inside her cottage when she heard a scratching and heavy knocking echoing from the front door. The heavy wooden door bursts inward, letting in a blast of hot wind and sand. Standing in the entryway is a massive, wild lioness. From the bed, Amina's husband begged her to keep the beast out. Amina reacted instinctively, grabbing her hunting rifle from above the stone fireplace and leveling it at the animal's chest. But Amina saw signs of distress rather than aggression. The lioness was visibly pregnant and exhausted. Taking shallow breaths, the animal lowered itself to the ground and bowed its head in a posture of complete vulnerability. This decision matrix shows the possible outcomes of trust versus violence in a cross-species encounter. By lowering the rifle, Amina opted for the high-risk path. This choice prioritized potential mutual benefit over the immediate violent safety of pulling the trigger. Amina guided the lioness to the hearth and wiped the sand from its fur. Within hours, she helped the exhausted mother give birth to a single cub, which she wrapped in cloth near the fire. Survival required Amina to spend her own precious resources. She mixed her limited supply of honey with warm water, spoon-feeding the mixture to the mother lioness to keep her alive. Over the following days, a rare truce took hold in the cottage. The golden dog rested near the lioness, while the husband watched from his bed as the apex predator slept peacefully beside the human family. Fed and sheltered, the mother regained her strength. The cub grew larger each day, thriving in the warmth of the stone fireplace. Shared vulnerability effectively suspended the normal rules of the food chain. The stone house now functioned as a cross-species sanctuary. But the family's resources were finite. Amina eventually returned to the dunes to collect firewood, re-exposing herself to the dangers of the open desert. This brings us back to the moment the hyenas closed in. The lioness had been tracking Amina's movements, following her into the desert to act as a guardian. Biologists call this reciprocal altruism. It occurs when an organism takes on a short-term cost, like sharing food or shelter, because the action yields a significant, delayed survival benefit. This flowchart illustrates the loop of reciprocal altruism. The protection Amina received in the dunes is the direct biological payout of the behavioral contract she established at her front door. Through the window, the husband watched his wife emerge from the dust, riding safely on the back of the beast he had feared. Harsh climates usually select for isolation. Survival strategies in these regions typically rely on high walls and keeping weapons pointed outward. Amina's experience suggests a different logic. She used empathy as a hard, actionable survival tool, securing a level of protection that a rifle could never provide. In the most unforgiving environments on Earth, compassion is a measurable force. Extending your limited strength to save another can echo back to save you when your own strength fails.